What we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi today. I'm your regular host, and Tony Akinyemi is still my name. Thank you for always finding the time to join me, either when we come live or when you watch later. Whichever the case may be, whatever the case may be, you're welcome and thank you. In case you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please go ahead and just hit the subscribe button right away. That way you won't miss another episode, particularly when you click also on the notification button. We're talking about the medicinal properties of certain herbs. And to date, we have looked at 7 different herbs. And today we're going to herb number 8, and that is fennel. Fennel is a light green, seed-like aromatic herb. You know, while it can be used for culinary purposes, for cooking as a spice in cooking our foods, it also has a number of properties that make it, an excellent herbal remedy for many health problems. Fennel has antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties, carminative properties. It can serve as a decongestant, as well as, possesses antispasmodic properties. Don't forget that in the beginning of this series, I did highlight and enumerate the different effects that herbs can have on the body. Okay, so it shouldn't be strange to you now when I mention anti-inflammatory, carminative, antispasmodic, and what have you. Now, in case you're not familiar with those terms, I urge you to go and watch the previous episodes at the beginning of this series. Now, the seeds of fennel contain a variety of minerals. They also have certain chemical compounds such as phytoestrogens. Anytime you hear the word phyto, P-H-Y-T-O, it refers to plant. It's the Greek word for plant. So phyto means plant. So when you hear phytonutrients, it means plant nutrients. When you hear phytochemicals, it means plant chemicals. When you hear phytoestrogen, it means plant-derived estrogen. So fennel also contains phytoestrogens, as well as, phytonutrients such as flavonoids, carotenoids, fencone, camphene, annetol, and these elements, all these phytonutrients and phytochemicals allow fennel to be used to treat conditions such as flatulence, when people release gas from the anus, from the backyard. Flatulence, used for addressing bloating, and issues like indigestion, as well as irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, even conditions like hypertension and low milk production for nursing mothers, all right, to address things like premenstrual syndrome, PMS, and for hormonal imbalance, even to address things like low libido. It can be used to address bruises, bad breath, colic in babies, eyesight decline, sinus congestion, as well as, things like chronic cough. These are the various conditions that fennel has been used to address. Now, halitosis or bad breath is often caused by digestive disorders. And fennel seeds are excellent natural remedies for bad breath, since the seeds can actually help to resolve these digestive problems, as well as provide a fresh aromatic scent. Now, you just chew 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of fennel seeds throughout the day, and that will help in that condition. Now, bad breath can arise from the buccal cavity, from the mouth. If anything is wrong with the mouth, maybe there is gum infection, for example, that can give rise to bad breath. It can arise from the throat. If there are infections of the tonsils or around the throat, that can also give off bad breath. It can also be coming from the gut. It can be coming from the intestine. When food is not properly digested and then carbohydrate begins to ferment, proteins begin to kind of, they begin to rot, as it were, and then fats begin to go rancid. All of these things can begin to give off very bad smell, very bad odor. So when you chew fennel seeds, they can help to improve the transit time, help to improve the flow of waste through the GI tract, help to improve digestion so that there's no time for all these things to begin to decay, as it were, food residues to let off some very bad odor that can now begin to come through the breath or through the mouth. All right. Now, a warm fennel tea can also be used as a mouthwash to also diminish bad breath. Now, a few studies suggest that fennel seeds may help with sinus congestion, with chronic coughs, and even with flu symptoms. So for nasal congestion, all you need to do is to boil 1 liter of water in a pot, and then you add 4 to 5 teaspoons of fennel seeds. Then you lean over the pot, and then you inhale the vapors by covering your head with a towel or a large cloth. You kind of do steam inhalation or steaming, as it were, but you have 4 to 5 teaspoons of fennel seeds in that hot water. If you have nasal congestion, it can help to get things flowing, in your sinuses, and your sinuses begin to drain again. That's another use for fennel. Now, for sore throat, you can actually gargle with warm fennel tea 2 to 3 times daily, and as well as before going to bed at night. When you make warm fennel tea, you put it in your mouth, and you leave your throat and lean backwards and do you gargle with it like that 2 to 3 times a day. Now, for cough and flu symptoms, you can make fennel tea by boiling 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds in a cup of water for about 5 minutes. Then you can add honey to sweeten, and then drink this as tea 3 times daily. All right. Now, for colic, which is a condition that affects babies, it is often characterized by prolonged and uncontrolled crying. You see the baby crying and crying and crying and will not be pacified. Now, while the actual cause of colic is not always known, one common theory is that it may be caused by digestive problems, including intestinal spasms or cramping. The baby doesn't know how to talk and how to explain its symptoms, so the only way to let you know that something is not going right is to keep crying. Now, if this is the case, if this theory is true, that colic, is caused by digestive problems, intestinal spasms, and cramping, if this is truly the case, then fennel can be used to help to relieve these symptoms. A simple solution, is to make fennel water or fennel syrup and store it in the refrigerator for emergencies. Now, to make fennel water, you boil 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds in a cup of water for 5 minutes. 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds. You boil it in a cup of water for 5 minutes. And then you add half a teaspoon of grade A maple syrup or honey to sweeten. And then you let the mixture cool down. Then you strain out the seeds. Then you can give 1 teaspoon of this fennel water to the baby 3 times a day or until symptoms subside. All right? Yeah. Now, for its antispasmodic effect, okay? The antispasmodic effect, the phytoestrogenic and anti-inflammatory properties of fennel may also help to soothe the muscles in the uterus, that's in the womb, which can help to relieve the cramping and discomfort that may be associated with premenstrual syndrome, PMS, or painful menstruation. Now, Fennel can also help to ease hot flashes and other menopausal symptoms or problems by balancing the estrogen levels in the body. Because phytoestrogen, plant estrogen, is usually a weaker form of estrogen compared to human estrogen. So when phytoestrogen gets into the body, sometimes it can bind to the same receptors that human estrogen should bind to, but then exerting a weaker effect, thereby reducing the effects of, estrogen dominance. Now, a simple remedy for menstrual cramps, for symptoms of menopause and PMS, is to make a fennel tea as follows. You boil a cup of water, you add a teaspoonful of fennel seeds to the boiling water, and then you leave the mixture on low heat for 5 minutes. Then you can use a strainer. You pour the tea into a mug to strain out the seeds. And then you can add honey as an optional sweetener. Now, for relief of menopausal symptoms, you drink this tea twice a day. For menstrual cramps, you start drinking this fennel tea 3 days before the expected period. And then you continue drinking it until symptoms subside. Now, I also normally recommend apple cider vinegar tea in like fashion, for dealing with menstrual cramps and menstrual pain. You just take 1 tablespoonful of apple cider vinegar, put it in your mug, add hot water to it as if you're making tea, and then you can sweeten with maple syrup grade A or honey and drink it. You start drinking it morning and evening, 2 to 3 days before your menstrual cycle begins, your menstruation begins, and then throughout your menstrual period. Same thing with fennel tea. For flatulence, for bloating, for indigestion, and for intestinal spasm and cramping, all you need to do is to chew on a small amount of fennel seeds or drink fennel tea as we have described. Alternatively, you can chew on 1 to 1.5 teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds throughout the day or after meals. You may also take fennel seed capsules bought from a health food store. Now, there are not any known side effects of fennel seeds when used moderately. An overdose of liquid fennel seed extract or oil may cause what is known as phytodermatitis. It can lead to a rash, a kind of itchiness on the skin. And if you notice any unusual skin changes, all you need to do is to stop using fennel seeds and then contact your healthcare provider. Now, due to its phytoestrogenic properties, fennel is also not recommended for pregnant women. That would be the contraindication for fennel. Now, fennel is available in seeds, it's available in capsules, it's available in oil and tincture form, it's available in liquid extract, and it's available at many health food stores. Fennel seeds can be bought at, most Indian, Pakistani grocery stores. And when buying fennel seeds, look for those which are light green in color. Okay, we're going to go on a short break. And when we come back, we will take on another herb. That will be our herb number 9 in this series. Don't go away. I'll be back very shortly. People are broke and they are not financially viable because they lack good money-making ideas. You may desire to have money, but if you don't have the knowledge of money and the knowledge of how to make money, money is a game. Every rule that you find in a game also applies to money. In a game, some win and some lose. The game of money, some people win money, some people lose money.
Native Financial Intelligence by Reverend Tony Akinyemi is a transformative guide to managing your finance with practical strategies rooted in biblical principles and common sense. Start your journey to financial empowerment today. Grab your copy now.
Hello and welcome back to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. My name is still Tony Akinyemi, and we're talking about the medicinal properties of certain herbs, where we have dealt with 8 different herbs to date. And like I said, we can't possibly cover all herbs Because I know some people will say, oh, why not talk about this herb? Why not talk about that herb? If we want to cover all herbs, we will not be able to finish until Jesus comes because there are so many. And by the way, I don't even know all of them. I can only talk about a few of them among the ones that I know about. All right. Now, we have dealt with 8 different herbs. So we move on to herb number 9, which is Maca, M-A-C-A. Now, Maca is a Peruvian herb, and it's a hearty root vegetable belonging to the radish family. I'm sure you're familiar with white radish, red radish. White radish looks like white carrot. In fact, the same architectural design, same shape, same size like carrot, only that this time it's very white. That's white radish. Then red radish is round like onion and actually very bright red. Okay? Now, Maca is also, it belongs to the radish family. It's also an adaptogen. As such, it can increase the body's resistance to stress, to anxiety, to fatigue, to trauma, particularly psychological trauma. When somebody has been traumatized psychologically, Maca can come in handy to help as an adaptogen in that regard. Now, Maca is also a rich antioxidant herb. It is rich in fatty acids as well, rich in minerals and trace minerals, rich in vitamins and some amino acids, as well as other nutrients that can support optimum health. Now, because of its high iron content, Maca has been shown to be beneficial with those with anemia, low blood level. Now, Maca contains terpenoids as well as saponins, which give it the ability to relieve pain and act also as an expectorant to help cough to be productive, to break down mucus so that it can be expelled. It can also act as a sedative, to make people go to sleep. It can also act as an analgesic for pain relieving. And it has also been claimed to be able to even lower cholesterols as well. Now, Maca is one of the best known natural aphrodisiacs. And it is best known for its ability to enhance fertility and libido. So those with low libido, low sex urge, and you want a kind of tonic to boost your libido, Maca can serve that purpose. In the year 1960, can you imagine? That was a year before I was born. In the year 1960, this PhD holder by the name Gloria Popovici. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce the name well. It's a Peruvian name. In that year, this lady, Gloria Popovici, a PhD holder, a Peruvian biologist, was able to isolate the 4 alkaloids in Maca that are responsible for Maca's reputed positive effect on hormonal issues, such as its effect on hot flashes, on fatigue, on mood swings, on memory loss, and even male impotence. Now, that lady did a lot of scientific work there and was able to isolate these 4 alkaloids found in Maca. Now, Maca's reputation for restoring physical strength and libido, has caused many a South American to name it, the Spanish Viagra. They call Maca the Spanish Viagra. Now, Maca has been shown to help to boost sperm counts as well in men who have low sperm counts, which is oligospermia, right? Now, Maca can also help to alleviate the symptoms of menopause, as well as PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Now, Peruvian women have used Maca for years to improve their fertility potential and to treat premenstrual problems as well as post-menstrual problems. Now, Maca's calcium, silica, and magnesium content, can also help to prevent bone loss, osteoporosis, that may accompany menopause-induced osteoporosis. Because as women enter into their perimenopausal years and menopausal years, the rate at which they lose bone density tends to, increase. And Maca has been found because of its rich mineral content. It's rich in magnesium, it's rich in calcium, it's rich in silica. Silica is particularly good for, the nails, the hair, and what have you. Magnesium and calcium, good for the bones and the teeth. And because of these that Maca contains, it can help to prevent bone loss that typically accompanies menopause-induced osteoporosis. Now, osteoporosis is loss of bone density. Maca can also boost energy and improve athletic performance for athletes. It can also help to boost immunity, and that can, help to ward off, the common cold and various other mild viral infections, bacterial infections, and what have you. Now, Maca is also said to contain glucosinolates as well as fibers that can actually help to prevent, certain forms of cancers. It can also help, as some claim, to promote, mental clarity when you take Maca regularly. Now, in Peru, in the country of Peru, Maca is usually eaten like a potato. It is boiled and used in puddings, in jams, as well as in drinks. Everywhere else, Maca is more readily available at health food stores, either as a powder that can be conveniently added to food or drinks. And Maca is also available in the form of capsules or liquid extract, both of which can be, self-administered as a dietary supplement, okay, when you obtain it from a health food store. Of course, the manufacturer will typically put directions on the bottle or on the pack on how to utilize the powder or the extract that you obtain. So that is our herb number 9 that we have dealt with so far, Maca. Now, the next one that we're going to be talking about, which is number 10, is garlic. Again, another very popular one. Now, garlic is a popular medicinal herb that is used both to flavor foods and to address many health challenges. Adding garlic to virtually any dish turns the ordinary into something extraordinary, whether it's in terms of the taste, as well as in terms of the medicinal effects, the health benefits that we derive from that meal. Once you add garlic to it, it enhances the taste, the flavor, it enhances and kind of increases its health benefit as well. Now, garlic is known affectionately as the stinking rose. All of you know how garlic smells. When I was in secondary school, I remember we used to have, many Indian teachers in my high school. In fact, majority of my teachers, probably 90% of those who taught me in high school were foreigners. We had majority of them Indians, we have Ghanaians, we had Europeans who taught me in high school, okay? Now, the Indian teachers we had in high school, they normally use a lot of garlic in their culinary arts, in their cooking. And you can almost perceive the odor of garlic in their breath, on their clothes, on their body, when you get close to them. Now, so garlic is known as the stinking rose, not in a derogatory manner, not in a negative sense. That's why they call it an affectionate nickname, the stinking rose. Now, rose is a beautiful flower, but this time, this one doesn't smell nice. When they say go and smell the roses, okay? Now, garlic doesn't smell nice, but it tastes nice, and it's also nice on your health. They call it the stinking rose because of its peculiar odor. Now, garlic is a potent antioxidant. It's antifungal, antiviral, antibiotic. It also serves as a blood thinner. So garlic contains the substance known as allicin, which is a chemical that has antibacterial activities, antibacterial capabilities, along with many detoxifying sulfur compounds. In fact, it is the high sulfur compound in garlic that gives it that, unique odor, as well as also leads to a lot of flatulence when people take a lot of garlic. Garlic is also known as, some people call it the stinking rose. Other people call it the Russian penicillin. The penicillin, which was discovered as, an antibiotic, a very, very fantastic one at that, but the Russians call it, some people call it as the Russian penicillin because of that country's dedicated, use of garlic in their culinary art. Now, according to an article published online, by Sylvia Hubbard in 2010, she published it at the website newsmax.com. Newsmax.com. He published in the year 2010. She claimed that garlic may help to improve the following conditions. Number one is heart disease. That garlic may prevent the buildup of plaque and prevent blood clots by thinning the blood, thus lowering the risk of strokes and thrombosis. Now, a thrombosis is a blood clot, all right? It can also help with diabetes. Garlic regulates and lowers blood sugar. The allicin in garlic combines with the B vitamin thiamine and helps to stimulate the pancreas to produce more insulin, all right? And then what about cholesterol? Garlic also has the capacity to lower blood levels of triglycerides and LDL cholesterol by as much as 20%, according to certain studies. Now, in dealing with blood pressure as well, hydrogen sulfide that is found in garlic makes smooth muscles to relax, and that helps in lowering blood pressure, to control blood pressure. What about the common cold? Now, those taking a daily garlic supplement containing allicin may reduce their chances of catching a cold by more than half when compared to those taking none. Now, in addition, those who have already caught colds are said to recover more quickly if they begin to supplement with garlic or add garlic to their smoothie or garlic to their food preparation. In dealing with cancer, according to www.cancer.gov, cancer.gov. Now, studies have found that garlic lowers the risk of pancreatic cancer by as much as 54%. It lowers the risk of prostate cancer by 50% and lowers the risk of colon cancer by 50%. It lowers the risk of stomach cancer by 52%. This is published at www.cancer.gov. It's a government website. All right. Researchers at the Medical University of South Carolina found that sulfur compounds in garlic are effective against glioblastoma, which is a fatal type of brain tumor. Now, garlic has also been found to lower the risk of esophageal cancer, breast cancer, bladder cancer, skin cancer. Now, what about brain function? Chinese researchers found that a sulfur compound in garlic that is called SAC or S-allylcysteine helps to prevent degeneration in the frontal lobes of the brain. And other studies have found that memory retention actually improves after eating garlic. And that's not far-fetched because, like I said, anything that can improve blood circulation to the brain will improve brain function. Ginkgo biloba does that. And now we can see that garlic, being a blood thinner, definitely can improve blood circulation to the brain. Now, the strong odor of garlic is always a concern to many. Well, my way around this is to either take garlic capsules or simply juice garlic and ginger along with your pineapple when you're making pineapple juice to make a tasty and healthful homemade drink. Now, a good juice extractor, such as the Green Star juicer or the Solo Star juicer or the Shine juicer and what have you, are very good to make pineapple juice. And then you juice in, along with it, ginger and garlic. Now, the sweet aroma of pineapple is so strong that it is able to counteract and maybe even overshadow garlic's so-called offensive odor. I personally don't mind smelling garlic anyway, if that is what it takes to improve my health. But, some people mind, particularly ladies. They don't want to smell garlic. All right, so the way to deal with it is to find another, substance like pineapple that has a very sweet aroma. And then you can mix garlic into it, smuggle garlic into it, and the aroma of the pineapple will counteract the offensive odor of the garlic. Now, much has been, said about garlic in most of my previous episodes on Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. So I won't want to go further than here. I believe that, again, you will find different ways to include garlic in your culinary arts. Now, many people ask me when I say, hey, don't use MSG in cooking. They say, then what are we going to use? I say, there's a long list of herbal spices. Maybe, again, we'll find time to talk about spices in some episode in the future. But then garlic comes in handy here. Ginger comes in handy. Onions. These are different things you can use to spice your food in place of chemicals that can cause different kinds of health problems for you. So this is how far we go today on the 10th herb, which is garlic. Again, next week, by the grace of God, we'll be talking about yet another in the series, or maybe 2 or 3 in the series of the medicinal properties of certain herbs. I want to thank you once again for joining me on Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. And I want to ask, number 1, that if you are yet to subscribe, just click on that subscribe button. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. As I'm watching you, do it now. I can see you, do it now. I'm just kidding. All right. Now, I know you can see me. I can't see you, but go ahead. Just subscribe. After subscribing, after you click on the subscribe button, there is a bell, that will ring, bang, 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 that bell. It's called the notification bell. Just move your cursor to the bell and click on it. What that means is that anytime Exposé comes on air, your device will alert you. Say, hey, Exposé has started, don't miss it. And then you won't miss another episode. I see many people asking me to always send them links to watch Exposé on a weekly basis. Sometimes I remember to send, sometimes I forget. But that is manual. It's a manual way of sending links to people. Exposé is going to start in, 1 hour's time. This is the link to watch it and all of that. But then if you just subscribe, you click on subscribe and you click on the notification bell, c'est fini. You don't need any, that's not manual anymore. You have put it in autopilot mode, as it were. So it is your device now that will be reminding you whenever Exposé comes on air. That's the way to go. I know that majority of the people who love Exposé with Tony Akinyemi are people in their senior years, people in their 50s and 60s and 70s, because that is the season of life when, paying attention to healthy living becomes very crucial. Younger people with strong shock absorbers usually think that they don't need all these things until they get old. Although it is my belief that the earlier the better. Younger people are the ones who should pay attention now so they can avoid some of the pitfalls that we fell into before we learned our lessons. But anyhow, my observation is that majority of those who view these episodes are senior citizens. And so they many times are not very tech savvy. They don't understand the idea of, give us a thumbs up, click subscribe, click notification bell, forward and share. It's difficult for them. That's why I'm taking the time to explain all those things. If you look at your screen, if you look at the bottom, you will see the word subscribe. That's all you need. Just move your cursor there and click on it. That's it. Then look at the bell. Click on it. That's it. Then look at the thumbs up sign. Click on it. That's it. Then you can see the share button, share. Click on share and then put in the address of the person, either their email address or their WhatsApp address that you want to share the video with. That's how it goes. Thank you very much once again. We appreciate your feedback. We appreciate your prayers. We appreciate your encouragement. We appreciate your comments and everything you do to support us on this journey of sharing wellness information with people. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. Again, I pray for you that your month is thoroughly blessed. Every single day, we keep adding value to your life and inching you closer and closer to the fulfillment of your dreams for this year. Before the first quarter of this year comes to an end, I pray that you will have significant and major testimonies of great breakthroughs in the name of Jesus Christ. Glory be to God. It is well with you. I love you. Have a terrific week. Bye-bye. People are broke and they are not financially viable because they lack good money-making ideas. You may desire to have money, but if you don't have the knowledge of money and the knowledge of how to make money, money is a game. Every rule that you find in a game also applies to money. In a game, some win and some lose. The game of money, some people win money, some people lose money.
Native Financial Intelligence by Reverend Tony Akinyemi is a transformative guide to managing your finance with practical strategies rooted in biblical principles and common sense. Start your journey to financial empowerment today. Grab your copy now.